Welcome to the Queens on Decks, where I interview female DJs from around the world. I am Michelle Miller, your host of the Royal Queens Rising podcast. We share our inspiring stories and secrets to our success. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Royal Queens Rising podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, DJ Rye Toast. Hey, what's up, girl?
What's up, RunDat? So nice to be here with you today.
Yeah, you too. I've been following you online for a few years, which I love following you. You're very entertaining, I'd say.
Thank you.
Definitely go follow her on Instagram. And, a mutual friend told me about you. And I just was like, one day I definitely want to get to know her more. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah. So I like to start the interviews off with just telling us a little bit about your story on how did you get into DJing?
Sure. Well, I always gravitated towards music ever since I was a kid. Like in high school, I would like make the mixtapes for the bus to the basketball games and like the running out onto the field mixes. I always loved doing stuff like that. I always had a boombox with me. I had this really extreme this pull towards hip hop, and out of all the elements of hip hop, emceeing, dancing, production, graph writing, DJing, I just felt like DJing could be my way of contributing to the culture. So when I was 21, for my 21st birthday, I got myself turntables and just kind of said, well, let's see what happens. And here we are.
I love it. Yeah, it just pulls us in. We get this strong connection. Like for me, I was the annoying one, like putting in requests to the DJs or always in control of the music or wanting to share music with people or experience all types of music, growing up with all age venues, anything from metal to raves to hip hop to reggae, whatever
Hell
it
yeah.
was. I just was like, I like the vibes. Yeah. When you were starting out, did you have anyone that was helping you learn the technical side of things?
So in the beginning, I was in college and I was working cocktail waitressing and bartending at like the spots in the town, Burlington, Vermont, that always had DJs. So, and I also was dating a DJ. So I would go to his sets a lot, and I really soaked up a lot of understanding based on just being in that environment, like about how music hits people and like the energy waves that people go on throughout the night, and also song structure and like how to blend so that you can keep building the energy instead of like have these lulls. So I do think that those DJs that I listened to, like DJ A-Dog, and some of the other guys in the town, DJ ZJ, DJ Nasty, these were all guys I was like listening to in the clubs coming up. I know that left a big imprint on me, but my first few years of DJing were really self-taught, like trial and error. It wasn't until I moved to LA and found a Beat Junkies school and then met DJ Shorty that I actually started formally studying the art of DJing, turntablism, scratching, beat juggling, creative mixing, all that stuff. And that was like about 8 years into my career already. So it definitely kind of brought on this second wave of appreciation and studentship and passion, because it made me feel like a total beginner again, but it was also exactly what I needed.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I want to go to that school. I want to go down to study with the Beat Junkies, the ladies of sound. Like, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That's amazing. So I'm pretty sure my husband lived in Burlingame, Vermont. DJ Just One. I don't know.
Okay. Well, the town was Burlington.
Oh, Burlington.
Yeah, probably that's probably
That's
what
the
you're
one.
talking about.
Yeah.
DJ just won. I'm gonna have to look it up, but maybe we
Yeah.
know each other,
Yeah.
you know?
Justin Miller. I don't know. Yeah. He's been
Dude,
DJing for
that
35 years, like
that
30.
sounds really familiar now. Justin Miller.
Justin Miller from New York. You guys probably have crossed paths.
I feel like I know who that is. Weird. Cool. DJing is such a small world. That's like one of the other things I love about it.
Yeah. No, it is. I know. I love how it connects us through our passion, our shared love, and
Definitely.
you know.
Yeah, like there's always been, I got started in Burlington, but then I started DJing professionally in San Francisco and then moved to LA to keep it going. And in each of those locations, there's really strong DJ communities.
Yeah.
Like I think competition is healthy because we make each other better. So like it's kind of like sharpening your swords with everybody and just trading information and staying inspired. And yeah, like my husband is a musician. He's a producer, but also a guitarist, and he can play bass. And he would come to like DJ events with me and be like, damn, like DJs are so cool. Like guitarists don't get together and like do shit like this. And DJs do. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love like with the last few years, I've been networking a lot more online and learning so much from the DJs. And that's one of the positive things from my podcast is just having these conversations. Like it sparks creativity or I learn something new. And there's always so much to learn. And it's
Yeah.
always so inspiring to hear how did you get to where you are today? And like, playing in LA, that must be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm in the woods. I'm like, so like when I get to hear other people's experiences, and you do a lot with yoga in mixtapes. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I have been doing yoga since I was 21. So that's 17 years. And I'm 38, so no one has to do the math. There you go. I've been a certified Bikram yoga teacher since 2008. And I was doing that full time when I lived in San Francisco, as well as DJing a little bit. And then my DJ career started to grow, so it kind of like became even with my yoga career. And then when I moved to LA, I kind of put teaching on the back burner for a minute. I was traveling a lot, I was touring, and it was just a lot to keep up with. But it always was a passion of mine. And I also just thought like teaching yoga is something that you can do when you're 99. So let's focus on DJing now. But I'm going to be DJing when I'm 99 too. Like, don't get it twisted. So when the pandemic hit, I had to cancel a world tour. Like I had dates booked around the world and they were done. So that was really depressing and anxiety inducing. And like I was telling you, when I lived in San Francisco, I was going to Yoga Hell in Petaluma and working on my teaching with mentors and like getting coached and getting feedback. And those same mentors, their names are Lynn Whitlow and Jeff Renfro. They called me up like the second day after the pandemic hit, and they were like, we're starting a virtual program. Do you want to come back and teach for us? Like you can stay in LA and just teach classes online for us. And so I was like, fuck yeah. Like, thank you. It felt like someone had thrown me a rope in the middle of a storm. And I was just like, yes, I'm going to hang on to this. Like, this is a way that I can help. This is something to hold me accountable to like myself, because you can't show up to teach if you're like full of your shit. You really have to like clear it out. So I ended up teaching for them from March 2020 throughout the pandemic. And during that time, like having teaching back in my routine, like I realized, wow, it's so good to do something that helps people. It's so good to put yourself in a situation of being in service. It's so good to practice things that you're skilled at because it brings you back to your power. And that was a very disempowering time for so many of us, for myself included. So to be able to have a platform where I could actually help a few people feel better, and that was like making me feel better, and it just brought me back with like how much I love teaching, and I know that it's one of my gifts, and so I want to share it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had a lot of time on my hands because I was only teaching like three classes a week, which is like 6 hours or so of your time. So I started playing with music and yoga in a way that I never had, because traditionally the style of yoga that I teach is very rigid. There's no music. You like stare into a mirror. Traditionally it's taught in a heated room, but like we were all doing it in our homes for the most part. So I had never really thought of putting the two together.
Mm.
And I've been in a lot of yoga classes where like the teacher's playing a playlist and you're moving, and most of the time the two just kind of run parallel, but they're not really integrated. And because the music's not really adding much, to me it kind of takes away. So during the pandemic, I really had time to like sit back and play with how music and movement can deepen each other. And that's how I started doing yoga and mixtapes, which is I took my 90-minute sequence that I teach and I shaved it down to 60 minutes, which I think mentally and physically is just like a lot easier for people to wrap their minds around, like an
Yeah.
hour versus shit, an hour and a half of yoga. That's a lot.
It's a big time commitment
And
right there.
yeah, it really is. And it's hard. Like it's really hard, especially at home when like you're just really confronted with how your body feels. Like in the heat is great for the sweat and the deepening and the detoxification, but it also can kind of numb your body. You don't feel as much.
Mm.
So anyway, I thought, well, maybe if I make really dope mixtapes that flow perfectly with these great yoga classes, that will sort of help create a container for people to feel lifted and unified throughout their practice. And like, yeah, we might not all be in the same room, but we all have the same vibrations flowing through our ears and the same movements flowing through our bodies. And because of that, we are together in this moment, transcending space and time. Um, and so it kind of like just that's how it happened. And then it just kind of started carrying itself. I started teaching online for this really dope platform called Live Kick. And now I'm getting ready to release all my classes as a podcast.
Ooh.
So it's like you just press play and you get this beautiful mixtape that is like my voice is like mixed and like engineered into it, like on time and on beat, and they're dope. They're fucking dope. So I just want
Whoa.
people to be able to use them.
Yeah. Is there videos that go along with it though?
So yeah, there's a few. Like I've made 2 mixtapes that were actually videos. I call them Yoga and Mixtapes Volume 1 and Volume 2. The first one's like a random mix of songs that I just thought worked with the postures. The second one is all MF Doom,
Okay, cool.
which is a vibe. And I think that the videos, and plus I have all my replays are online too, that anyone can buy access to at any point. But what I found, as like I always take my replays because I want to check my work and make sure, like I kind of give myself feedback. Oh, like the timing on that wasn't right, or the way you said that could have been more clear. And I think having video is really useful for people who are on their first couple classes. But because I teach the same postures over and over and over, and it's really about like kind of like the meditation that you get into and
Mhm.
where your body's at today and connecting with that, and less about like, oh, what are we doing next? After you know the sequence, I think it's more beneficial to just listen and be able to like focus on yourself if you have a mirror, or maybe you focus on your altar or wherever you're set up. But like after a while, you don't really need the visual cue, and it's almost more of a distraction,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, thinking back on, I think I've only done it like one. I know I've done it once. I might have done it twice, speak room yoga. So it is like it's its own thing. Yeah, it makes sense
Yeah.
now.
But I have 2 full classes on demand on my website for free at all times.
Okay.
So anyone ever wants to go see what I'm talking about, go ahead, yogaandmixtapes.com. Like you just enter your email and then boom, you get access to 2 bomb ass yoga classes, unlimited 24/7.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, check it out.
I'm going to. Yeah, pump up the heat too.
Mhm. Space heater works. Or some
Um,
people were doing it in their bathrooms and like turning the shower on really hot and making it steamy and then doing their yoga practice.
Yeah. Sounds fun. I always have a goal of like drinking more water and doing more stretching. So this is perfect.
Those are such good goals.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
first thing in the morning, I'm not allowed to get into my phone until I've like stretched my neck, drank my water, stretched my shoulders.
Oh, such a good rule. I mean, it
Yeah.
makes me want to drink water and stretch right now.
Yes, it's important. Well, since we're talking about self-care, let's talk a little bit more about it because I love the topic.
Yeah.
We've talked about burnout as DJs because I know for me, I went from like 0 to 1,000 back into weddings and private events. And it was really exhausting. I was really grateful to
Like
be back.
just now?
Well, yeah, like August was like 8 weddings and a private like reggae
Wow.
concert at a house and like 2 kids in 2 different schools and 2 soccer schedules, and it was like nuts. And September
Wow.
was a little more chill, but so self-care is always a priority for me, and I'm wondering, like, for you to prevent burnout, especially touring. Traveling is exhausting and exciting, but it's like I was just traveling in Hawaii and I played my friend's wedding in Oahu, and I
Cool.
definitely had a lot of tired days. Like I was just
Yeah.
tired and like I was kind of quiet and like just taking it in, and I'm accepting like that's okay. Like I
Mhm.
can be, chill. I don't have to be doing so much. Like it's okay to just go to the beach and just chill. Like you don't have to be like
Yeah.
working. So
I think that's step one for self-care is just fully feeling like you're okay no matter what.
yeah.
Like it's okay. Show yourself that compassion as much as you can. That's A1.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but I also like, you get overwhelmed and you can get into like fear mode and fight or flight mode and like I don't scarcity mode, like I'm working too much on yoga, I have DJ gigs, like what am I going to do? And but what's really working for me right now is realizing that I need both to be like the best DJ and the best yoga teacher. Like I need the outlet of DJing to come in and have the swag I want to have as a yoga teacher, and the I need the discipline that being a yoga teacher gives me to like be fucking dope as a performer. And I like, and both you're kind of performing and holding space for people together. So there's a lot of similarities too. But I try to look at it as like one fuels the other, and that helps me navigate burnout
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah. And,
sure.
and I think the physical parts of DJing can be a challenge, like the lifting, the driving, the standing, the leaning, the scrolling my computer.
Dude, I don't know how motherfuckers do this without yoga, for real.
We need more yoga. We need yoga at the DJ conventions. We get it at festivals sometimes. I always kind of tease about like, all right, like before a big night, like ladies, like stretch your whining muscles, like circles, like just start just circling your waist, get
Yeah.
ready. Cause I'll be sore. I'll go like dance, dance, dance if I forget to stretch, which I will, because I'm not thinking, let's stretch. I'm thinking more like childcare, logistics. I should probably eat. Like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to play? Usually, like, who's
all
watching
real
the kids
things.
and what I'm
Yeah.
gonna play are like the two top things. And then the rest. But stretching should definitely be a priority before gigging. I mean, even like you could do it while driving. It's like it doesn't take much. And that's like what I get to remind myself, like wake up, stretch. Like it's like we can do it right now. We can do it
Yeah.
anywhere. Like even the littlest things, the littlest things. And like,
I think that's another important point is like, hey, when you were, first of all, I don't even know how it is to like balance children into this mix. So like my hat's off to you, because that's a whole world of thought that like I don't even have to worry about.
yeah.
So many of us don't. And like I have so much respect for all the moms out there in general, but especially the DJ moms.
Thank you.
But I think like it's important what you said, even just a little bit. Like for me, sometimes if I can't do like a whole 2-hour yoga class, I'll be like, oh fuck it. Well, I'm not doing yoga today. I'm just gonna be stressed out all day and eat like shit and probably not drink water. And it's like, no, you could do 15 minutes and like maybe that's all you need. And then like it's like just because you can't have like the full thing that you think it should be, just do what you can
Yeah.
and see what happens when you do that, you know, instead of being like, fuck it, I guess I'm just gonna like be this other person today. It's like, no, just like do what you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And like starting it in the morning is just like easier for me before my mind gets going on all the things I want to accomplish, hope to accomplish, that I get to do in the day. So if I start my day with it, that helps me win.
Yeah, absolutely. Mornings are technically, anatomically, the best time to do yoga anyway. And people are always like, oh, but I'm so stiff, blah, blah, blah. But you want to feel those things.
Yeah.
So it's just, and also it sets a great tone for your whole day. I believe mornings are sacred, and like it's much easier to have a good day if you've had a good morning. So whatever that takes for you, like you need to carve that out. If it's 15 minutes of silence or going outside and just like smelling some grass with a cup of coffee or whatever you can do to just listening to like Abraham Hicks in the morning
Yeah.
is so nice, or like
Yeah.
meditating first thing.
Yeah.
Woo,
Absolutely.
that's a treat.
I'm always trying to add more, but not overly complicated. Like the meditation's nice if I can add that with my water and stretching if I have time.
Yeah.
Or well, if I'm getting dressed like up for an interview like today, like put something positive on, dance it out a little, all the
Yeah.
things.
Moving is so powerful.
Yeah, it sure is. Sure is. So I was watching a little clip of you DJing, I think recently. You were like out there with the mic, like hyping it up. There was a woman rapping. Were you in the Bay? You know what I'm talking about?
Was that Babes Right Out?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Those parties. I have another one this weekend. Those are like the best parties. It's like these super dope all female motorcycle meetups
Yes.
in these like really dope places. They're always a super adventure to get to, and you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Like I always think I'm lost, and then all of a sudden I'll see like 10 girls on bikes cruise by, and I'm like, follow them. But yeah, I spent like the first 10 years or so of my career like dead ass afraid of the microphone, to the point where like if a club manager asked me to call last call, I would like tap a friend or tap a bouncer or something. Like I did not like the sound of my voice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be that kind of DJ. And I think I've heard people like overdo it, and that sort of turned me off, but also it was just my shit and my fear.
Yeah.
But I'm over all that now, and I have
Yeah.
shit to say, and I'm saying it, and it
Yeah.
feels fucking great.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. So I feel you. It's a journey. I wear Larimar to help my throat chakra. And it's been a journey of finding my voice. And it took a lot to get used to seeing myself on video and hearing myself.
yeah.
And I think the only way is to just do it.
Yep.
And, you know, that's where we'll build our confidence. So good for you for making it happen, even if
Thank
it took
you.
10 years,
Yeah.
because
Well,
now it's fun though. It's like, it's a fun challenge. I'm still working on it myself.
yeah. And it takes a minute to get myself into the right energy that
Mhm.
it takes to really communicate in that way, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so part of my prep work as a DJ is to really like get into that state where I feel confident and like present enough to really like take control of a situation. Like for instance, at that same event, the other DJ who yeah, she was rapping and beatboxing that night as well, probably in the clip, but she also opened for me that night. Her name's Portia Taylor. She's very talented. Um, she started this thing called Black Girls Ride, which is like it's a all black girl motorcycle magazine, and like they do events and stuff. So they had a big presence at that um Babes Ride Out party. But she was using my controller, and you know how always shit just happens, like when you first are using a new piece of equipment, your computer bugs out or your shit doesn't read or you need to update Serato, you forgot a driver, whatever it is. Her computer crashed in the middle of her set, and so I tried to troubleshoot it, but then we are just like, fuck it, we just need to restart. So like it's like dead silence, and I think there was like 600 to 800 babes like in full party mode.
Oh my God.
And we just like cut the music, and I was like, Portia, kick a beatbox. And I went up to the front of the stage and I just fucking started freestyling.
Yes.
And I've never done that before.
Never. Oh my God.
Well, in my car on a long drive, but not like on a stage.
Oh my gosh.
And it was so cool. Like it was so cool because it was like everyone was like when the music stopped. But and that would have really freaked me out in the past, but something inside me just knew what to do, and I did it, and it felt so good, and it kind of like cracked the night open.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so exciting.
Yeah, it was cool.
I haven't done it like for a crowd like that. I used to do it a lot, but it was more of a drunken thing in my
Oh,
youth.
that's dope.
I used to call myself the drunken freestyle master. Like I was really confident, but I was like probably not that great.
Okay. But confidence, I mean, in hip hop, I feel like confidence is really everything.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm finding with this new level of communication and connection with people through the mic is like you're in your head like thinking, oh, my voice doesn't sound good, or that didn't rhyme, or like that didn't sound cool. But no one's judging you like that. Like everyone's, you know, when you take a step towards people, they respond. They usually take 2 steps towards you.
Uh-huh.
So that's a really good lesson for me. Like, don't let perfection get in the way of progress, you know, like, because people respond to the energy you bring. And if you're giving everything you have and you're not being stingy with your gifts, people are going to see you and feel you.
Yeah, well said. Because I mean, a lot of it's like just energy too. It's the vibe. It's not like they're not like analyzing every single word you're saying.
No,
like,
but they'll remember that moment.
Yeah. Or like if you're having fun, they'll like, oh, that's fun. Like that's entertaining.
Yo, that's the key to DJing and teaching hard ass yoga classes. Like as a DJ, if you're having fun, everyone has fun and they feel like they can relax and just like get carried away with you. And the same thing with teaching. If you're having fun, like people can relax, and that actually makes people work harder. I think fun is so important. I think it's genius. I think it's part of self-care. I think it's part of health in general. So I really like to emphasize that in my DJ sets, but also my yoga classes. Like crack a fucking joke. People breathe deeper after they've laughed, for real.
Yeah. I love that. I agree. I mean, if it's not fun, I'm not having it. That's what I've like come to like.
It's simple.
not having it.
Yeah.
Like if something starts to become not fun anymore, I'm like, I'm done, or I'm outsourcing that.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's evolution right there. That's growth.
Yeah. So curious, like this boss babes, what'd you call it? The babes right out. So stuff like that. Like, how are you getting the gigs? I feel like my gigs are coming through my networking skills, a little bit of my online marketing and branding, but have you ever had an agent? Like when you set up the world tour, like that's a dream for most DJs, including myself. Like how did you go about doing that?
It's all basically been relationships I've been building
Yeah.
since I started DJing, and they come and go, but the ones that are low maintenance to maintain
Yeah.
and the ones that are real are the ones that stick. And yeah, like Babes Ride Out, I've been doing their events for years now.
Yeah.
Um the world tour was a mix of yoga community and music community.
Yeah.
Even other DJs I reached out to, like, hey, I see you play in this city. I'm going to be passing through there. Like, do you think there's anywhere I could play? Yeah, here, call so and so at blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
just putting in a little legwork like that, and asking more questions, and maintaining relationships. And I've been in the game for a long time now, so what I want to do with music is getting more and more specific. I'm not here just trying to do gigs. Like, I'm saying no a lot more than I'm saying yes right now when it comes to gigs.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, that's what we get to do when we've been in it for a while, and we get to choose, be a little more choosy. And I think it's all about relationships. Business is about relationships. Life is about the relationships we have. I've
Yeah.
been focusing on nurturing my relationships in all areas, getting closer, more intimate with my clients, the other vendors, the other DJs, the bigger community of DJs worldwide, because one day I'll do the tour. One day I will host an all female DJ convention. Like we did our first retreat this summer.
Wow.
And it was very
Congrats.
small. Thank you. And I mean, it was very small and intimate, and it was just the start, and it was amazing, and it was perfect. And it was just what we needed after coming out of, the big break.
Yeah.
The weird virtual DJ world we went into, which we're still in. So yeah. Did you ever get on Twitch or do some of the virtual DJing?
I mean, a handful of times.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll do this. Like, let me see what this is all about.
Yeah.
But I knew it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like put a lot of energy into it. I applaud everybody who did, because that shit takes work, takes diligence, it takes motivation.
Yeah.
And I saw it work for like a lot of our DJ sisters and brothers. I just like, for me, like, I couldn't sit at home and watch DJs on Twitch. So I couldn't like ask people to watch me on Twitch. Like, I was just like, I wouldn't do this. So like, why would I tell you to do this?
Yeah. It was an experience for sure. I think about getting back on there a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not super convinced yet that I want to do that. I actually want to do this podcast live on Twitch and all the different platforms. Like we're live today, and to have a broader reach. And
hell yeah. I think it's a great tool, and I'm really glad that I know how to use it if I want to, if I need to. I love to see my friends thriving on it.
Yeah.
But I'm at a point in my career where like, if I'm not all about it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, totally. I feel that. I'm like, I've really learned about the importance of protecting our energy. And just like I said, if it ain't fun, I ain't having it. And like the technology part was really kind of hard for me, partially because of my internet, which I finally got some stronger internet. Thank you.
Thank you, internet gods.
It's been so hard for so many years. And my husband said he never saw me so happy. That's kind of a joke, but we do a lot,
It's a game changer. And like throughout the pandemic, it would be a huge roadblock if you didn't have that router speed, baby. So
Seriously, it's silly, but it's the truth. Do you have any exciting events coming up?
yeah, well, the biggest thing going on in my life right now is that I just opened up a yoga studio.
Ooh, go girl. That's amazing. Wow,
I'm
congrats.
Thank you so much. I'm absolutely over the moon. We opened last Tuesday and it's been an amazing ride so far, and it's just getting better every single day. So the studio is called Funky Door and it's in Berkeley, California. And I currently live in LA, so I'm doing like 2 weeks in Berkeley and then like coming home to like see my husband, do some gigs, and then going back to the studio to run it. And so it's quite full tilt,
Yeah.
but like it feels so amazing. My partners are the best. And
Yay.
like it's just so cool because they owned this studio. They opened it in like 2001. And then they sold, these are my mentors too. Like these are the people I've been working for in Petaluma.
Okay.
They opened this studio in 2001 and it's state of the art. It's like they designed every single element of it, from the 2,000 square foot yoga room to the heating system to the ventilation to like everything is spot on. And it's full of art
Ooh.
because one of their dads was this awesome cartoonist. So he made all these sassy cartoons and they're like, it's like floor to ceiling art in the studio.
Wow. Wow.
And it's really like lighthearted, irreverent, it's very friendly and disarming, I feel, for yoga, because like hot yoga, let's face it, can be really intimidating for people.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to like just take the edge off it, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, they sold it to this woman and she ran it for like 15 years very successfully, but like when the pandemic hit, she just like didn't really, she was kind of over it. And so we took it over together
Wow.
and we're breathing life back into it. And I mean, Berkeley is just such a wonderful town. The
Yeah.
community is so beautiful
Mhm.
and so diverse. And like, I feel so honored to be able to be in service to them in this way. Um, so that's like the most exciting thing going on in my life right now.
Yay.
And yeah, as far as events, like I'm doing this weekend in Lebec, California, which is like, I think it's like an hour north of LA, but that's where the Babes Ride Out meetup is going to be. So I'm doing that. And then I'm doing Halloween in Paso Robles at this really dope restaurant called the Alchemist Garden. They do like insane food and cocktails, everything farm to table, like
Ooh.
so I'm so excited to help with the ambiance because I know that like what they do for their food and their drink program is like so to the nines that I'm like, ooh, I get to do that with the music.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm doing a small run in Vegas, and then I'm going back to Berkeley.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot of exciting things. Congratulations on the studio. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to make a trip down there. Funky door, here I come.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. And I want to come up to Humboldt too.
Yeah.
There's a studio up there. I know some people that practice there. So
Yeah.
I would love to come up there and teach as well.
Yeah, awesome. We have a new airline, a Velo, coming from Burbank to Arcata. So it's a lot
Oh,
easier. I can't wait to like start traveling a little more.
hell yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And it was so great to connect with you and chat and learn more about you and talk about music and self care and yoga. And I'm feeling super inspired. I'm going to keep stretching. I'm going to stretch even longer and harder
Yes.
and check out your videos online.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Much love. Thank you so much, DJ RunDat.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
More to
welcome.
come.
Yeah, like tell us how we can follow you online and best support you.
So, follow me at Yoga and Mixtapes on Instagram. And if you want to check out any free yoga classes or any of my replays, just go to yogaandmixtapes.com. I also have an artist profile at Queen Ritos, which is where I'm going to be dropping some new music. I have a track coming out with Tori Wolf next week. So stay tuned for that because it's like a cool Halloween kind of spooky vibe.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and you know, if you like this interview, hit me up and say what's up. I'm here.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you again. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.
Go to my website to claim your free gift, a digital copy of my best-selling book, How to Start a DJ Business. www.djrundat.com. Follow me on all social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at DJ RunDat. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To learn how you can book me or work with me, go to my website or email me at michelle@djrundat.com.